Hi, I'm John Tickles, and welcome to Remote RPGs. I've done some pretty obscure titles on the show, but I think this is the one that'll take the cake. It was never released in North America, was made by Konami in 1993, and has one of the weirdest titles I've come across. God Medicine for the Game Boy. What does that title even mean? Like, if someone's a god, then they're immortal and they don't need medicine. Or could it be referring to the fact that you have to take down a god in this game, like giving him a taste of his own medicine? Or is this game like about disgruntled doctors handing out prescriptions? God! Medicine! In any case, let's take a look. God Medicine was never released outside of Japan, though there is a fan translation out there that you can pick up. It isn't error-free, but it does the job. It's honestly really tough to find much information about this game at all. There's not much on YouTube, and I couldn't even find the original soundtrack, so I had to play some other stuff instead. Let's get into this no doubt amazing story. Its amazingness indicated by this epic box art. A video gaming company was to release Phantom, their new RPG, but the company mysteriously got destroyed. Noah, Ken, and Mickey are three RPG fans that are disappointed by this. The game not being released, not all those dead employees apparently. Wandering about town, they stumble upon a shack with a great demon inside, battling three warriors. The warriors are defeated and the demon exits through a portal. The warriors, after showing the kids how easily they'll get their untrained asses handed to them, give their souls and powers to the three RPG fans, who must now enter Phantom to save the game's world. However, they must also protect the real world from the demon. The story of God Medicine actually isn't terrible, which is what I expected. The premise is a little absurd, of course. I mean, come on, girls don't play RPGs. I'm kidding, please don't kill me. I mean, the entire company was completely destroyed and disappeared. Like, how the hell does that happen in real life? I wish Square Enix would disappear sometimes, but I digress. I'd say that the most unique element of this game's story is the meta aspect of the game's heroes being RPG fans. So there was some RPG humor thrown in there that made the game way more entertaining, though they could have done a lot more with the concept. However, there is also a lot of plot convenience, as this game is your very generic RPG adventure. In any case, it's still a solid story that wasn't as terrible as you would think for an obscure Game Boy title. If I had to describe God Medicine in one word, I'd say it's pretty lighthearted. Like, you can tell the game is trying, but it's kind of a strange mix of charm, annoying things, and strangeness. For example, there's awesome things, like early in the game. Does this line look a little familiar?
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world!
That's awesome. Or when you're exploring town, you have to be in this certain spot for the game to actually start. And there's no indication of this. The game just assumes you'll be in that spot so the story can continue. You see what I mean? It's kind of like a mix of these weird good moments and then there's these frustrating moments, and that kind of defines God Medicine. Let's get into the gameplay, which is pretty easy. Have you ever played an RPG? Then God Medicine is pretty much like that. It's your basic run-of-the-mill RPG. You're stuck with the same three characters, each with different talents. You have this big world to explore. There's magic, monsters, random encounters, and hey! Don't get bored and leave, come back here, let me finish the review, damn it! Okay, I'll speed it up. The only real deviation in the battle system is the use of the Mapu gems. No, I didn't sneeze. Mapu, or Mapu? Ugh. After the party collects enough of these gems and gains the special weapons, they can put the gems into the weapons. And each gem has a different effect depending on what character equips it. Kind of like the materia system from Final Fantasy VII, though nowhere near as elaborate. some Mapu attacks need to be charged during the battle first, so this added another level of strategy that this game desperately needed. Other than this, it's your basic RPG system. Old, reliable. But it still shows off my pro skills! The game has a pretty reasonable difficulty, especially if you accept the fact that you'll have to grind, and it doesn't take too long to beat either. It's a relatively short handheld game. The graphics in the game are pretty good, and you have some pretty cool animations, good character portraits, and enough variety to keep things fresh. One really cool touch was that putting on equipment meant that characters put on the equipment on the overworld screen as well, which was a really rare touch. Like, I can only name a couple of games that actually do that, so it was really cool to see them implement this. However, on the flip side, some character sprites look pretty awful. Notably, Yo Mama looks horrible. Like, that doesn't even resemble a woman, it looks like a soldier. Do you see like the cap? Ugh. Still, it's a graphically competent title. The music in God Medicine is solid. I know you didn't really hear it in this review, but it's a decent soundtrack that doesn't drag on or get annoying, but it isn't something really good enough to listen to outside the game either. In conclusion, God Medicine is a pretty neat game for the Game Boy, but it's not too easy to recommend because there are literally hundreds of other games like it, and hundreds of other better games. The only thing it really has going for it is some extra charm, but the novelty of playing as an RPG fan isn't explored that far. I still wouldn't call this a bad game, but just one that doesn't stand out. I recommend it to those who want to brag about playing obscure games to their friends, but if you do that, you probably don't have that many friends. It's okay, I'm your friend, buddy.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough.
But seriously, stop with that shit. I'm John Tickles, and I look forward to our next random encounter.